friends, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting life. So today we're going to work on the long arm, and I am going to show you what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and why I'm doing it. So I have a client quilt here, as you can see, on the long arm. It is all batiks. The whole thing is batiks. So as soon as I start stitching, everything better be good because batiks leave holes when you remove the stitches. So we're going to try not to have to pick anything today. But I'm going to walk you through my process. We're going to load the frame and choose a thread, which I kind of already did, but I'll show you. And we're just going to get to it. So here is my client's quilt, and I could go with a cream, but then what am I supposed to use back here in the black? So I could probably use black, but I wouldn't want black in this because there's a really high and there's a really low color here. So I am going with chestnut. It is a glide thread. It's called chestnut. And guess what? Chestnut looks perfect with both the black and with the lights, the peachy pinky chestnutty color. So we're going to go with chestnut, and I'm going to wind some bobbins of this, and we're going to get this loaded and get started. So while the bobbin is winding, I'm going to go ahead and load the frame with my client's quilt. So let's get to that. Okay, so the first thing that I always do is I always baste the quilt. It's just something that I do, and I baste it with a 1/2-inch stitch. And I go across the top, and I also go down the sides. And I try to baste it 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch, somewhere in that range, from the edge, as long as it's consistent all the way across, because I don't really lay anything out. It looks level to me. I don't make pre-stitch lines or anything. So I just do it this way. I just don't move my machine. You know, I just go side to side. So then I leave my needle down. I adjust the quilt, which you can't see, but that's what I'm doing. And I smooth it out. And then I come down this side. And I'm just pulling the machine straight towards me and adjusting the quilt itself to keep a nice straight line. And then I go back the opposite direction. And once I get to this side, I go down this side. But first I adjust everything. It's batik, so it kind of wants to, you know, move around a little bit. There we go. Once you smooth it out, it should be good. And every time I advance the quilt, I always go back and baste the sides. All right, so first things first, I am going to add my ruler base because we're going to work with some rulers today. There it is. See how simple that is? Come back over to the quilt, and now I need to grab a ruler. All right, got a ruler. I'm going to start by coming right here, and I'm going to start stitching around in the ditch of my stars. And just so you know, this client lets me do whatever I want with her quilts. As long as it's not super heavily quilted, she doesn't care what I do or how I do it. She just wants it quilted. So most of the time, she gets custom quilting, and she usually loves it. So I'm going to go ahead and start stitching around until I get to about right here. And then I'm going to, no, until I get to about right here, actually. And then I'm going to come in and do some lines and then travel. Actually, I don't even need to do that. Here we go. You'll see what we'll do right now. So I'm just going to stitch in or near the ditch because I never make it in the ditch. I'm going to get rid of my starting thread. And I'm going to come down. Like I said, it's usually in or near the ditch as best as I possibly can. And I think from right here, I'm going to take and I'm going to work on something inside the star. So I'm going to do a straight line from here to here. And when I get to here, I'm going to work on something inside of here. Let's do a little swirly gig kind of thing. Come in, do a swirl, come out of said swirl, go up to the top, come back down, and echo the swirl, just like that. And I'm going to repeat that process, but the opposite direction. Come in, out, up, echo. Then I'm going to do a straight line from here to, trying to think, here to there or there to there. We're going to go, I don't know which way, because we still have to fill the star in no matter what we do. We'll just go this way. I try not to have to break thread. That's my problem. I'll stitch that ditch and then just come back on it. How about that? Come down this way. And yeah, we'll fill in right here. And we're going to repeat that process down here with the swirl thing. So one will go one way and one will go the other. In, out, up, echo back down. And then I'm going to repeat this way, in, out, up, echo back down, and then exit out. That looks really awesome. So now I just need to go around the rest of the star. And yes, I will be backtracking. And I don't need to go the rest of the way, but I do need to start filling in whatever I'm going to do right in all the dark section while I'm here. So I was thinking about straight lines. So I'm going to come right here and then line it up with the corner. Come right here and line it up with the corner again, just like that. And I think I'm going to do that kind of thing all the way around except for out here in the border. So just going to aim, aim. Just like this. Yeah. Maybe I can go the opposite direction this way. Ooh, that'll look nice. Yes. And then track down. Probably could have stitched around the star after, but that's okay. I'm not going to do in the center because the seams don't match up and I have no point to go with. So we're just going to go around. And I'm just going to use this side, since I have to stitch this star anyway, to fill in this side. Oops. We'll do the same on this side. I'm going to leave it like that for now. I may change my mind about other things. I tend to do that when I'm quilting. I don't have a solid plan usually, and this is how we're going to do it. Okay, so one block is ready for now. I'm just going to move on. To this side. So we're going to do this block now, but I'm going to do this one probably a little bit different. That way they're not all exactly the same. But the first thing I'm going to do is go all the way around it. Repeating all the steps. See if this comes out better. Doing all this first. Oops. I should have done inside that. All right, from here, let me decide what I want to do in the star. I need to make my way to the center somehow. So, I guess we can repeat that same thing, except put the straight lines on an opposite side. So, straight lines will go here, and my curves are going to go in here. So again, I'm going to come in and curve opposite directions. Just like that. And then I'm going to do this side, and then we'll straight line out. Okay. Just like that. Where's my ruler? So I'll just do here, trace back this and that, and come down to here. Trace that and that, and now we're on to the next star. All right, now let's wide angle you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and go do all this all the way around. Okay, so now that I've gone all the way around with my echo thingy that I'm doing, the little, I guess, what is called dot to dot, now I'm going to do the opposite side again. So my little curves right here were on the sides, and then the first one they were on the top and bottom. So I'm going to repeat with them on the top and bottom now and do my straight lines on the sides. So I curve in. And I'm going to do my top two. Just like that. And now, let's straight line right here. You know what? I'm just going to stitch right on top of that same line and then go to this side. And stitch right on top of that same line. That way I have an exit point. Right there. And there we have it. So I think that looks fabulous. Now to do the next block, I'm just going to echo around it again. So for this, I'm just going to speed the video up a little bit. Okay, so on this one right here, if you can see, I actually went the wrong direction. That happens. Just leave it. You don't need to move it out. So this one I went the correct direction. So it kind of looks a little funky, but from far away, you're never going to know. But this time I'm going to try to stay the correct direction. So now I'm going with my sideways ones. So these ones are going to the side. So again, curl in, up, oops, and then back. Curl in, up, echo, back. So I'm just going to make a straight line here, and I'm going to come back to it. And my bobbin thread is messed up. So let me fix that real quick. So I haven't really quite decided what I want to do in the outer side of everything. I did do up to here on these, on the outside, so in the corner, but I'm not sure fully if I want to do it right here as well or not. So that, I don't know. Sometimes I like change my mind several times while doing this, so it may change in my mind what I want to do, or I could just, do another design in here or something. But at this time, this is all I'm doing, and maybe I'll come back once everything's quilted and then work on the outer side, which is no big deal. You can work however you want when you're long arm quilting or just sit down quilting. But as you can see, I did rotate. So these go up this way, up and down, and then my straight lines are here, and then these go to the side, and my straight lines are up and down, and then straight lines are the side, my curves are up and down. And then this one is my mess up block, but hey, you know what? It still works, even though it went the wrong direction. This one was the right direction, so it's perfectly fine. And then back to the correct direction again. It happens. I'm not perfect, and I'm pretty sure you aren't either, but it's practice, practice, practice. You just have to remember which way you're going. So with that being said, I do have a long way to go. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this whole thing, and when I get finished, I'll show you what it looks like. So it's nighttime 2 days later. The only reason it took me so long is because I couldn't make up my mind. So now that it's nighttime, a few days later, and I'm finished up, I've trimmed the quilt, which I do for this client. She always wants trimming. And it is ready to show you what I did and why did I do it? Well, I don't know why I did it. I just do things for fun. And that's the whole point of the quilting, is to have fun with it and enjoy what you're doing. Because if you don't enjoy it, you shouldn't be doing it. So let's take a closer look at this quilt. This camera is totally not picking up its true colors today. But anyway, so as you can tell, this is what I quilted early on. So I was doing all these parts right here. And then I also echoed in here. That's what I was showing you. Well, the part that I couldn't decide on was what to put inside the center of this square other than the dot-to-dot quilting right here. So I decided on a spiral. So all of my spirals start out the same way and end in the same spot. Well, at least they try to end in the same spot, but I did that. So all this section has it. And then the border is where I didn't really know what to do. So I kind of just made up my own thing. So let's take a look at that. So in the border, I obviously, when I was doing the stars, I did in this section, but then in the border, I was like, well, maybe I should do that same thing, but a wider section with a double, and then in the smaller section, do a double. And I stopped on these on the edge of the border on the small ones. And then on the bigger ones, I stopped a 1/2 inch from the top. And then in the top corners, here's the corner right here. So in the corner, I kind of just went right here. Instead of doing anything in the corner, even though I really wanted to do a swirl, I decided not to because my swirl wouldn't have been as circular if I would have done it up here, because I don't like to stitch off the quilt onto the backing fabric, because I like to save backing fabric as much as possible, because some of my clients and myself like to use the backing fabric to bind the quilt with. So I try not to have as less stitching as possible on that fabric, if that makes any sense. So I didn't do anything right here. I just kind of made a nice little echo right here. And if I would have went one more, it would have just been a straight line. So I, stopped where I stopped. So it still gives that full look all the way around the border. So it just goes up and down. I think it completed it. So again, not all of these are perfect. Some of them, like this guy, got a little skinny, I could tell. But most of them are within the same range of each other, which is good. The tops and bottoms are opposite of each other. So let's take a look at that. So throughout this quilt, you'll see the top row, the previous row has the spirally thing going on the up and down and the straight lines on the sides. But the next row has the straight lines on the top and bottom and the spirals on the side. So it'll be spirals and then the opposite direction, spirals and then the opposite direction, spirals. So I did that, alternating it to give it that really cool look. So let's take a look at the whole entire thing. I will pan over it in hopes that maybe the camera will pick up the quality color of the fabric that I was hoping it would, but let's take a full look at this thing. So in full, this is what we're looking at. I think it really looks awesome. And the spirals in those big squares sections fill it up a little bit better. And it just completes the look. So let's take a closer look. Oh, look, it's picking up the color a lot better now. Again, it's nighttime, so I'm relying on all lights instead of having natural light coming through the windows, so it changes the look of things. But this is what I did. And don't worry, I will show you the back. Let's just take a look. There is one of these that is messed up out of all of them, and it goes the wrong direction, but who's going to know unless I point it out? But I am going to point it out so that you can see right here. Most of these, actually all of them, go out, in, up, and down. This one just so happens, because I was filming it and you guys saw that part, I went the wrong direction, but I left it. So I actually went the wrong direction the other side of it instead of picking it out. So it kind of has that little design flaw choice in it going on. So here this is. Let's take a look at what the back looks like. So here is the back in full. It is a pieced back. It's actually quite adorable. It's the fabrics in full that were used that match it. So it's quite adorable. Let's go up close and take a look. All right. So let's go up close and you can see all the quilting on the back side. It looks super awesome. So that is what the back looks like. Definitely unique. Nice and custom. Lots of fun. I'm telling you that darker fabric is not as dark as it is on the camera. It's actually browner. So there is the quilt. I think it turned out great. So there we have it, all done. I hope you enjoyed watching my crazy brain at work. I did learn some of this stuff early on when I learned how to long arm quilt. So some of this stuff in the diamonds itself, I learned how to do that a long time ago, like 3, maybe 4 years ago, somewhere around there. Angela Walters taught that from Quilting is My Therapy. And it obviously is my therapy, but that's kind of where I learned that style from. So I pretty much just brought it back because I did it a long time ago, a couple times. So, and it looks really cool on this quilt, so it went with this quilt. I really enjoyed doing this one, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I hope you learned something. And don't forget to check out some of my other long arm quilting videos. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.